Just gonna quickly show up this guy right next to me. Who's the better photographer? Apart from the memory card, the UV filter is today's still most popular camera accessory. The UV filter has been popular since the days of film and was considered a must-have accessory. The UV filter basically dampened the image robbing effects from atmospheric ultraviolet radiation, aka UV rays. Now, on film, this was detrimental. The UV filter would basically take out and dampen the haze that would be caused from UV rays, and this would be more prominent in environments when you're shooting landscapes where there is a lot of water, or you're out in the mountaintop where these UV rays can really come in play into your photo. Now, unlike digital, you can't reshoot your photo and you don't really know what the photo is going to look like. So having a filter like this really helped give you the peace of mind that you needed to shoot and go on with your day. Now with digital sensors, UV filters don't really play that big of a part in cutting out UV rays and dampening those image robbing effects. Digital sensors now can process UV quite well, and with tools such as Lightroom, with the dehaze function, you can basically take out the haze in a lot of photos. So why is the UV filter still so popular today? And that is because of its secondary function, protection. The UV filter in the film days as well as the digital days still serve as a protector for your lens's front element, but it also does a lot more than that. Firstly, the UV filter helps block out the probability of getting dust and moisture into your lens or on your front element. Secondly, it makes your lens super easy to clean. Chucking on a filter and getting a microfiber cloth and just rubbing around on the front of the UV filter is a lot safer and a lot easier to clean than cleaning your front element. Thirdly, the UV filter protects your lens from any kind of micro scratches, whether that is from transportation or just general all-around shooting. And finally, having a UV filter will significantly reduce the chances of shattering the front element of your lens. Chucking something like this on the front of your lens can protect you from a lot of life situations where you may end up knocking your lens off the table or dropping your lens on the floor. The UV filter will probably shatter and protect your front element. Now, it's a lot cheaper to replace a UV filter than it is to replace a lens, so we highly recommend getting one of these and chucking it at the front of your camera. So like any other camera product today, there is so much choice in the world. You can get a UV filter that costs $5 off eBay or Amazon, or you can go for something more closer to the $100 mark, such as this Nisi S Plus UV filter, which they're both UV filters. So what's the main difference, and is it worth it investing into a high quality UV filter? Today, we're gonna put these two filters to the test to see where they sit in terms of quality, but also I'll go through the main differences on why you would invest into a premium filter. Just gonna quickly show up this guy right next to me. Who's the better photographer? So what we're going to do now is a side-by-side image comparison using the generic filter and the premium filter to see how much of a difference the premium filter really does in your images. So today's sample images, I'm using a Sony a7R III with a Tamron 17-28mm f2.8. Now today's shooting conditions to test the filters, I wouldn't say it's the perfect condition to test. It's actually the perfect day to just take good photos. So there may not be too much variance in the images. However, if you were out in a field where there was a lot of fog and a lot of moisture in the air, then you might see the effects come through a lot stronger. Nevertheless, we're gonna test it anyway and compare the differences in the next segment. So for our side-by-side photo comparisons, we shot 3 sets of sample photos. The first set we shot using this no stopping sign. So comparing the Nisi UV S Plus and the generic UV filter, the photos look quite similar no matter where we're shooting out wide or shooting up close. And as I said earlier, this is probably due to the pretty good lighting conditions that we had. Now, when you're shooting against reflections and sunlight, this is where the UV from Nisi makes a huge difference. On the second lot of samples, you really see the Nisi S Plus UV filter shine. With the generic filter, you can see that there are color variances in the sky and also a lack of exposure compared to the Nisi S Plus UV. In the Nisi sample images, you can see that the photos are a lot brighter, even though we've shot both images at the same settings, and also that the color of the sky is more true to what we saw during that moment. And finally, in our last set of sample images, we shot directly at the sun just to see how the filters coped with any kind of aberrations or reflections. And you can see in the Nisi UV S Plus, it takes out a lot of the aberrations in that bottom left corner of the sun compared to the generic photo, which not only makes a big difference when you're in post-processing, but it just makes your overall image quality a lot better. Other benefits for going the more premium UV filter options, such as the Nisi S Plus, is in fact the construction. Now, our generic filter is quite thick, and this doesn't necessarily mean that thicker is better. Going for something that is ultra thin minimizes the chances of getting vignetting when you're using super wide lenses. If you're shooting at those wider angles, there is a strong chance that it may catch the edges of the filter in, giving you some pretty dark corners. And secondly, the most important benefit is the quality of the glass as well as the multi-coatings. Our generic UV filter has a standard piece of glass and a standard piece of coating just to get some decent light transmission. Whereas our Nisi S Plus UV filter is not only made from high quality Japanese glass, but is multi-coated on both sides of the filter, giving you optimal light transmission, less surface reflection, and basically makes it look like there is no filter on the front of your lens at all. Therefore, giving you better image clarity and also just a cleaner output on your images. Now, finally, not only does the multi-coating affect the image quality and transparency, but its performance in poor environments. So in an environment where there is a lot of moisture in the air and fog, generic filters tend to fog up, which will basically mean you're not going to be able to shoot. You're going to need to unscrew your filter, take your shot, and you might miss your moment. Whereas going for something like the Nisi S Plus UV, it's coated to fight against the elements, so it will have a better chance of shooting in those poorer environments. If you would like to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you can continue making great content for you guys. And to stay up to date with us, follow our socials in our description.